wotakwalesa
tawango mukate
wotakwalesa
tawango mukate onze uwayakwe inatakufensala onze uwayakwe inatakufensala
wotakwalesa
tawango mukate
wotakwalesa
tawango mukate onze uwayakwe inatakufensala onze uwayakwe inatakufensala
tawango mukate onse uwayakwe inatakufensala onse uwayakwe inatakufensala
wotakwalesa
tawango mukate
wotakwalesa
tawango mukate onse uwayakwe inatakufensala onse uwayakwe inatakufensala
wotakwalesa
tawango mukate tawango mukate onse uwayakwe inatakufensala onse uwayakwe inatakufensala
tawango mukate
wotakwalesa
tawango mukate tawango mukate onse uwayakwe inatakufensala onse uwayakwe inatakufensala manomba twaya wenkosi nomba twaya mumusuma Yerusalema nomba twaya wenkosi Satuleya 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 wenkosi Satuleya 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 wenkosi nomba twaya mumusuma Satuleya 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 wenkosi Satuleya 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 wenkosi Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni bonse
Mwaiseni
Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni bonse
Mwaiseni
Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni bonse
Sambila kalunga tata
Sambila kalunga tata namutamukiza namuyetesa kuna
Hallelujah
tunawaelewa tamukeni
Sambila kalunga tata
Sambila kalunga tata namutamukiza namuyetesa kuna tunawaelewa tamukeni
Mwaiseni
Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni
Mwaiseni
Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni
Mwaiseni
Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni bonse Mwaiseni
Yesu nenda nguwe Yesu nenda nguwe Yesu nenda nguwe uzigira kamuone Yesu nenda nguwe Yesu nenda nguwe Yesu nenda nguwe
thank the Lord we're able to take these children that have been the least of the least in the culture here. The way it is usually the men are sitting in one place, the women will be on the ground sitting on their shitangis in another place. The children will be out where, who knows where, they're lower on the ladder, and then the lowest rung will be the orphan children. They're more or less like slaves. They're out, they get the last of everything. And to see those children that have been the least of the least in a place like this, and now they live in a place that's envied by other people around, where they have a good place to stay, they have plenty of food, they have a real bed to sleep in, and most importantly, they really know about Jesus Christ.
Alifasiri
Hello and welcome to the 6th Annual Global Orphan Relief Fundraising Gala. Excuse me, I mean 6th Annual Un-Gala. Our theme this year is Feeding 5,000. I'm your host, Jeff Mattoon. Welcome. Yes, it's an Un-Gala one more time because we're still in the studio and not in some comfortable ballroom somewhere, eating a great meal and having fellowship and fun. That also means we aren't able to capitalize on our ever-popular and successful silent auction. So your participation this year is all that more important. Also this year, we've decided to forego recruiting a keynote speaker so we could take an opportunity to let you know what's going on with our 3 core initiatives: home-based care, nutrition, and scholarships. So enough about what we don't have. We're grateful for what we do have, and that's you. We also have numerous ways you can give, but before we tell you about those, I'd like to give you a little update from the past year because it's been a great one in terms of blessings. From this time last year, we've more than doubled the number of children we've served, an average of 1,728 more children each month. And all that thanks goes to you who supported us in some way over the past year. Our theme this year, Feeding 5,000, is a biblical example that involves a lot of hungry people and not a lot of fish. It informs us of the inspiration to serve more children than we ever have in the past. 5,000. That's 5,000 children with no parents who are at risk of leading a life of pain and suffering. We're not going to show you images of what that looks like. We already all know what that looks like. But we will show you images of happy, well-fed, clothed, and educated children because that's our program. And the only way we're going to get there is out of your generosity. Actually, it's going to take a little more than that. Throughout the months to come, we need to continue to reach people who aren't watching this very program right now. So I'd like to ask you a favor. Please, right now, take out your phone and open it to a notes app, whichever one you use, and write the name of someone you know who would want to know about Global Orphan Relief. Then, sometime between now and the time you go to bed tonight, send that person a text or email with a link to our website. That's it. You don't have to ask them for anything, but to let them know that you've watched this program and they need to check it out on our website. Okay, now for what you've all been waiting for, this year's goal. Drum roll, please. The Global Orphan Relief 2021 Fundraising Un-Gala Feeding 5,000 goal is $100,000. If you're watching this, you can partner with Global Orphan Relief's efforts to feed 5,000 children. And even though we're highly efficient and effective with your donations, we really need to be successful in raising our goal of $100,000. Won't you please help? All right, this is a great point in the program to tell you about Text to Give. When you're ready to donate, all you have to do is text the word GIVE or DONATE to 720-513-5284. You'll receive a return text with a link where you can provide your gift. Or you can also donate on our website, globalorphanrelief.org. Under the Un-Gala 2021 tab, select One-Time Donation. You also might consider supporting one or more of our initiatives each month by selecting Monthly Giving. With that important information out of the way, sit back and relax because we have a heartwarming and informative program for you, including guests from all over the world. Also, when I come back, I'll tell you about an exciting bit of news that'll make every dollar you give stretch a little farther. All right, our first guest is a special one, and you'll hear from her right after this.
Thank you! Thank you for everything! Thank you!
I wanted to take a minute and just tell you how much we appreciate you as the field partners and also as our sponsors. What you do truly makes a difference in this world for these children.
Thank you so much, Orphan Relief.
I just wanted to take a moment today to say to our partners and other supporters, thank you very much. It's through our collective efforts that we glorify God through the support of these orphans. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
Thank you for everything. Thank you, Orphan Relief, for everything. Bye.
After going to Zambia and seeing how the kids are raised and all that's going on with them, I am so thankful that you guys are all helping us work with them. Thank you so much. God bless.
Good evening, friends and family of Global Orphan Relief. My name is Rick Wright. As a former board member, financial partner, and prayer partner at Global Orphan Relief, I see firsthand daily the impact Global Orphan Relief is having on kids worldwide. I want to welcome you to tonight's event. Enjoy every minute of it. But in advance, we want to thank you for your generosity. Enjoy the evening, and God bless you.
Hi, my name is Thespina Nordstrom, co-founder of Global Orphan Relief, and I'm so happy that each and every one of you will be joining us this evening. From our humble beginnings, when we blessed over 20 children and delivered toys and supplies to Juarez, Mexico for Christmas in 2005, to this year, serving 3,964 children around the world. God is moving on behalf of the orphan child. The team at Global Orphan Relief works tirelessly to deliver the most vulnerable, resulting in lives saved, while demonstrating the love of Christ. I trust that you will enjoy the next few minutes that you spend with us, and thank you for all of your efforts in serving the orphan child.
Thank you very much, Despina, and a big you're welcome to the children and ministry partners all over the world. We've shared before, Global Orphan Relief is very careful how it spends every dollar we raise. And we're always looking for super donors who can help us maximize every penny given. We launched it last year, and I'm happy to announce that it's back this year, matching funds. The first $20,000 we raise, our super donors will match dollar for dollar. They are eager to give that money, but you have to do your part first. Won't you give right now, please? When you're ready to give, all you have to do is text either the word give or donate to 720-513-5284. You'll receive a return text with a link where you can go and give your gift. Or you can go to the globalorphanrelief.org website and select the Un-Gala 2021 tab, then the one-time donation. You could also consider supporting one of our initiatives through monthly giving. And remember, our Super Donor Matching Fund for the first $20,000. Now it's time to pivot and drill down just a little bit. As you know, our focus is on serving orphan children, providing them with safe shelter, a loving home, nutrition, and education through scholarships. But it hasn't always been that way. Early on, we focused solely on shelter or home-based care. Over the years, we added 2 additional initiatives, and we're completing the development of a 4th. But the first and foundational service we provide is home-based orphan care. It's foundational because we feel very strongly the best place for a child in crisis is in a loving, caring home.
And things go down and the world goes around and around and around.
When I see the House of Faith and the House of Hope, it gives me warm memories after having been there in 2015. A few weeks ago, we sat down to talk with Mike Jones, the director of our Zambia efforts, and Mike tells us about home-based orphan care in that country. Check it out.
We're so grateful for the ministry, for Global Orphan Relief, and it's just a miracle story how they connected with us in the beginning, calling somebody he didn't even know, thought he was talking to someone else. And God put the ministry together for us to work together and build these things and help orphans here in Zambia, and now they're in many other places too. And we found many children that the relatives have brought the child to us and said, here, can you take this child? And we'll say, well, after talking to them and seeing their situation, as we always do, we see that many of them just need some help. They need some help with going to school or with some medical expenses, and they're able to stay at home and be with their relatives, and we think that's much better. And we're getting more and more of that these days because the situation in every way, financially, medically, everything in Zambia has come up tremendously from what it used to be. And so we got much more opportunity to help people in this manner. With our children, we're always trying to get them back to their family as soon as we can, as soon as they're able to take care of them, because even though we love them and we're a part of their family, but everybody in Zambia has an extended family, a large family, and they need to know who that is and be connected to them. So we get them back as soon as they're able to take them. And we find that whenever they go back, we're still helping with the school fees. We help with any necessities, any medical care, anything that they might need that would be a strain on the family. We continue to help with that. We're really getting results because they come back and they tell me all about it. They say, hey, Uncle Mike, we're going to church, we're involved in this ministry, we're doing these things, which is a tremendous thing to see the children growing up in the Lord and really plugged into the church and doing the things that we're supposed to be as we mature in Him. The prayers that people have prayed for the orphans in Zambia, God is answering that prayer in a big way. The problem is not nearly as bad as it was. It used to be when I would go out and preach in churches that old grannies would come and bring me the babies, their grandchildren, and say, here, can you take this baby? And obviously you could see the baby was sick and needed some help, and they were doing the best they could, but couldn't manage. And so that's how we got started in the orphanages anyway, because of the HIV and AIDS situation. So many parents were dying. So we thank the Lord that that problem is not anything like it used to be, that it's so much better. We thank Him for doing that. And the children, they come back, even some children we've had some problems with. They were difficult. They got into trouble in various ways. We haven't had many, but we've had a few. But even in those cases, it's always great to see every one of them without exception. They always end up coming back and say, Uncle Mike, I'm really sorry. They really made a full apology. I messed up, I was doing it wrong, but now I'm doing things right. I'm really living for Jesus. I'm involved in church, and my life is turned around, and that's what really thrills us when we see those that were even having difficulty. Now they've turned around and they're going in the right direction, and we know they're going to be okay. Yeah, we have our children going to college now. They've reached that age where they finished high school, and they're going to different trade schools. So C. Virginia was our first child, and thank the Lord he's in a trade school now. They're doing various things. There's mechanics, there's agriculture, chef, all kinds of different things. We have one that's going to college. Blessing is going to college in forestry, to do forestry, and he likes the rural areas. He came from the rural area, so he's up in the Copper Belt now doing that. So we're really blessed to see how they're going ahead and getting into something that'll take them through life as a trade. I'm sure you've seen the pictures, you've seen the children, you've heard the stories, and we would even love for you to come if you have the opportunity to come and see us and see what the Lord is doing, because I know you'll really be blessed. So I say from the bottom of my heart, God bless you, and continue being faithful to the Lord.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Global Orphan Relief, I would like to thank you all so much for joining us this evening. My name is Noah Nordstrom, and for the past year, I've had the wonderful opportunity to work alongside of the board members at Global Orphan Relief and learning so much about the ministry. Since I was 8 years old, I have been blessed to be able to serve these orphan children in the field. Starting in 2005, I visited Mexico on several occasions, and now I have been to Zambia 5 times. I have been able to experience the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into serving these orphan children on the ground. With that being said, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Michael Jones, Pastor Salim Raza, and Bishop Garong for being the hands and feet on the ground doing God's work for us in the field. As you can imagine, home-based care is the most expensive initiative for Global Orphan Relief. As we are seeing the largest rise in the number of children that we are serving for 2022, our budget is expected to be at $176,000 for home-based care. $176,000 was the budget of the entire ministry about 5 years ago. It seems like a big number, but with your help, we can make that possible. So please, tonight, join us in finding a home and a family for an orphan child. And I'd like to thank our donors, past, present, and future, for everything that you have contributed. Because of you, you have made everything that we've done possible. God bless, and good night.
Thank you, Mike, for your dedication and years of leadership serving orphan children in Zambia. And thank you, Noah, for being a great example that people of all ages can have a huge impact on the life of these children. Have you ever been hungry? Well, I realize we've all been hungry, but have you ever been really hungry? Starvation hungry? A child who's in this state will most definitely experience all sorts of serious health consequences, including stunted growth and a compromised immune system, leaving them vulnerable to serious illness. Making sure a child is sent to school with a full belly is so important to the person they'll become as adults. A hungry child in a classroom is a child with a huge disadvantage. In fact, all over the world, including countries we serve, so many children go to school just to receive a meal, taking a financial burden off the family, and that's why Feeding 5,000 is such an important theme. To date, Global Orphan Relief has served 1.4 million meals to the children we care for, and yes, we think nutrition is a big deal.
We have been working with Global Orphan Relief for a number of years now with the nutrition programs. I think if we did not have this nutrition program, then many lives of the orphans and the vulnerable children we are serving now could have been lost. So we have managed to be feeding the orphans and the vulnerable children for a number of years now with what we have been given, and it has changed a lot of lives of the children.
I came to know Global Orphan Relief with the visit of Brother Scott in 2018 in different parts of India. Since then, Global Orphan Relief has been helping us to provide food and nutrition to hundreds of orphan, destitute, and poor children in our ministry area. I want to thank Brother Scott and the entire team. Just want to reassure that your kind contribution has been a life-sustaining resource to many of the children who have no hope and no one to help. Thank you very much. We hope that in the days to come, we can do more together and make a remarkable impact into the lives of poor and destitute and orphan children in India. Thank you very much. May our God bless you.
Over the last year, we've been able to re-engage in serving vulnerable children in South Sudan by partnering with our friends at Global Orphan Relief. I was approached by Scott about a year ago regarding the capital needs at 3 school projects where we were feeding children. To run effective feeding programs, we needed infrastructure, kitchens, storerooms, bathrooms, and clean water. We were excited to partner with Global Orphan Relief to invest more than $125,000 at these schools over the last 12 months. This investment is already paying off, with food now being provided at the Balik Village School by the World Food Program. The Bible talks about teamwork in many places, but there are a few verses in Ecclesiastes that come to mind. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil." And later in verse 12, the theme continues, "A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken." When we team up, we can do more than the sum of the 2 parts, which is exactly what God has done with the partnership between Kids for the Kingdom and Global Orphan Relief. Jesus said, "The poor will always be with you." So with the gospel message in one hand and practical aid like these feeding programs in South Sudan, we'll make a difference for thousands more vulnerable children in 2022 and beyond. God bless you, and thank you for your prayers and support. We look forward to working with you all in the future.
Our real call in life is to love God and to love others. And really the whole commandment the commandments are really summed up in those two things. And so I just am really thankful to all of you as partners that have come alongside us in your donations and your gifts that you've given to support this nutrition initiative. And we're just so excited that we have so many people that see the need and are coming alongside us and are coming alongside these kids. And so thank you so much, and we really appreciate it. In addition, this coming year in 2022, we have budgeted about $70,000, and we're really thankful to our two partners that are standing with us and subsidizing, and it's brought our costs down. And so this coming year, we're projecting about $4 per child per month, and that's awesome. I mean, most people can get on board with giving up $4. That's a cup of coffee. And so, we're just asking that you guys would do that for these kids. It's a very simple thing, and it goes so far. And we're reaching so many kids for the kingdom, and it's just exciting for what God is doing, not only through each of you that gives, and you get to see the impact, but also in these kids' lives. To have a kid come and actually have a meal and maybe get to learn a little bit about the Lord or get some education. A lot of these kids are just coming and sitting under a tree, but they get to be mentored by teachers and pastors, and they get a meal, and it's really exciting. And if you take it to another level and just think about your own kids and what you would want for them, these kids don't have a parent, and so we're getting to be a part of being a parent for these kids in a real small way, but it's very large for them. We really are the physical presence of God here on earth, and so you guys giving and contributing to what we're doing here through Global Orphan Relief and the nutrition initiative that we have going, it's priceless. We know that each and every one of you are in this with us together as we link arms. And so continue to do the good work, keep up the good fight, and we will continue to do our part as Global Orphan Relief as we serve these kids. And God bless each and every one of you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike D., for that great insight. By the way, that 1.4 million meal count I mentioned earlier is only for our specific nutrition initiative. We also provide meals as part of home life, and many of the children are also fed, like we talked about earlier, in school. So our total meals given far exceeds that 1.4 million estimated. Talk about stretching a dollar. When you're ready to give, all you have to do is text either the word give or donate to 720-513-5284. You'll receive a return text with a link where you can go and give your gift. Or you can go to the globalorphanrelief.org website and select the Un-Gala 2021 tab, then the one-time donation. You could also consider supporting one of our initiatives through monthly giving. And remember, our Super Donor Matching Fund for the first $20,000. All right, we've shown you how we have already created for some and are creating for others the foundation of a caring home environment. Then we explained that a hungry child is a disadvantaged child. The next initiative we want to talk about hits head-on the importance of education and what we're doing about it through orphan scholarships. We feel strongly, and there's plenty of evidence, that education is the secret weapon for breaking the generational cycle of poverty. And that's why we work very hard in creating scholarship opportunities for the children under our care. I've said it many times, we can't do it without you, obviously. But there are others who lend insight advice, and feet on the ground people like Mike Jones in Zambia and Pastor Garang in South Sudan. Without them, we would only reach a small fraction of the need. Another hero is Charles Owino.
So in education, I really like giving an example with myself. I grew up as a partial orphan, having lost my dad at a very early age. So no one was interested so much on my education at the early age until the time that I sat for the national exams at the primary level. I did very well, and the community members came together and fundraised for the little money to start my education. So when I look myself and the peers that I were with that did not continue the education to the next level, I see some difference. So my belief as a person having come from that humble background is that education is the only way to break the cycle of poverty, more so among the orphans and the vulnerable children. It is also a hope for the future, because someone who gets education, there are possibilities, even if it is not 100%, that they might get a job. They also have skills which can help them to start some work or businesses that can be a source of their livelihood. Here, a lot starts here. So this is where we have a water tank. So when it rains, we collect water using rain. But if not the case, we use our jerry cans there and a cart to get water. Just excuse them. To get water. So currently this one is full. This one is full with water. And we have these tanks that you help us to acquire. So we are water sufficient in a way, though we don't have running water. Yes. So our partnership with Global Orphans, which started in 2020, January, has been of great importance.
My name is Fidel Castro. I am in class 6. I am 11 years old. I joined in this school when I was baby class. I never knew how to write, learn, or read. Now they have lifted me up because I never knew even how to read even any letter of the alphabet. They helped me by sponsoring me. Now when I was sponsored, now I know how to read, write, learn.
If you are giving some dollars to Global Orphans in the education initiative, so these particular supports give hope and great support to an orphaned child, and this transforms their lives positively.
One thing that Americans don't necessarily realize is that it costs money to go to school overseas. Sometimes as much as $100 per month to get an education. We at Global Orphan Relief believe that education is key to breaking the cycle of poverty. We appreciate you and our partners in the field so much for what you do for the scholarship program for Global Orphan Relief. 628 kids are going to benefit next year from this program. We thank you so much for what you do.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our three-pronged approach to serving the needs of the orphan. A stable, loving home environment, nutrition for a sound mind and body, and education made possible through scholarships to break the generational cycle of poverty. Okay, once again, it's time to remind you about our financial need. When you're ready to give, all you have to do is text either the word give or donate to 720-513-5284. You'll receive a return text and it'll give you a link where you can give your gift. The other way is you can go to our website at globalorphanrelief.org. Under the Un-Gala 2021 tab, select one-time donation. You also might consider supporting one or more of our initiatives month to month by selecting the monthly giving tab. And remember, the all-important Super Donor Matching Fund for the first $20,000. All right, we just reminded you of our current core initiatives, and I'm very pleased to announce the imminent launch in 2022 of our fourth initiative, the Great Commandment Workshop. We've all heard it more than a few times. It's better to teach a person to fish than to give them a fish. And that idea is rather fitting with our theme this year, Feeding 5,000. The Great Commandment Workshop seeks to teach local workers how to fish by teaching them the steps and giving them encouragement to launch efforts to help the orphaned, widows, the impoverished, and the elderly.
Hello everyone, my name is Isaiah. I'm a minister of the gospel from Nairobi, Kenya. In 2019, we connected with Scott and he explained to me the concept of Great Commandment Workshop that the Lord had given him. After discussing, we had the plans of starting something in 2020, but unfortunately because of COVID-19, we were not able to do something. This year, I'm very much grateful for the Lord because we connected again after Scott came to Kenya. That is in the month of August, just like a month ago. And we discussed to see how we can put things in place so that we are able to bring the churches together. And we approached the church, one of the churches here in Nairobi, that is my church, Parklands Baptist Church. And we agreed in principle to hold the first Great Commandment Workshop to be held on 26 February 2022. It is my prayer that the church will catch that vision and be able to support the orphan child. I am very grateful and I'm excited because I know this is what the Lord is calling the church globally to do. The church is calling everyone on board, wherever they are, to support the orphan child. And this is one of the spirit of the Great Commandment Workshop. And I thank God because even you, as you are listening to me, I believe that there is something that the Lord is ministering to you right now. And I believe that in your personal capacity or as a company or a corporation, you are able to mobilize others as well and be able to support this great initiative. May God bless you so much.
Orphan children. We're aware of so many specific needs all over the globe. Needs in Zambia, needs in South Sudan, needs in Kenya, India, Pakistan. Those are just the countries we serve. Think of all the other places in the world where orphans have a tough time of it. With the impact of the Great Commandment Workshop, think of how many more we could reach.
Hi, I'm Scott Nordstrom, and I just want to tell you a little bit more about the Great Commandment Workshop. It's really the why and how to serve others, empowering the body of Christ to step out in obedience to the Scriptures, equipping the church to love the orphan child. As many of you know, I spent about 2 weeks last month in Kenya, and we actually conducted a trial Great Commandment Workshop at a church in Lucky Summer Estate, Nairobi. It was attended by 35 education and church leaders. Since my departure, they've actually formed a WhatsApp group so they can encourage one another in this work. And I had sent out a message earlier this week, just kind of wanted to know what kind of activity was taking place to serve orphan children since my departure last month. I just wanted to share with you a couple responses. One is, amen, Brother Scott. We at the Apostolic Church Evangelical Ministry have already started. We have 2 girls and 4 boys. Awesome. Another writes, we have been supporting 14 orphans and the ministry has identified another 11 children in which to serve. Another writes, we have 6 children at the moment. Another, Joy Education Center, outlines that they have 70 orphan children that are now receiving porridge during the week for breakfast at their school. So again, just a short time after we departed Nairobi, only about a month, things are already happening in Nairobi for dozens of orphan children based on a test that we did in Lucky Summer Estate. So what's important for you to know is this initiative is going to be sustained locally, meaning that these children will be supported with local resources. This rollout will be focused on the 1040 window. And we are so excited to see what God does with this effort, because this is the direction that He's been steering us toward over the last several years. So we do plan on 3 of these one-day workshops next year. And if you would like to sponsor one of these, that would be awesome. We do estimate that each workshop will cost about $5,000. You or a church group or a family would like to support these efforts, please get with us, and we can connect you with a specific workshop that we plan on facilitating next year. God bless you, and thank you for your consideration.
Do you remember what to do when you're ready to donate to Global Orphan Relief? Well, the good news is I'm going to tell you once again, but before I do, I have to share something very important with you. As an organization, our gala goal is indeed $100,000. And if we're successful in reaching that peak, I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that we'll be ecstatically pleased and grateful. But there's more to that story. Please know that the $100,000 goal for tonight only covers 20% of our preliminary budget for 2022. What happens when we fall short is we either have to reduce the level of aid we're able to provide, reduce the number of children we serve, and sometimes both. In addition to this annual gala and end-of-the-year giving, we continue to fundraise throughout the entire year, and to meet our goal of feeding 5,000, our 2022 budget is closer to $500,000. So you might ask, well, why don't you just ask for that amount? $500,000. Okay, that's what I'm going to do right now. There's no doubt somebody watching right now has the wherewithal to donate what we would consider an enormous amount. Would you please consider a highly generous donation to help us meet our budget for all of 2022? Thank you very much. When you're ready to give, all you have to do is text either the word give or donate to 720-513-5284. You'll receive a return text, and it'll give you a link where you can give your gift. The other way is you can go to our website at globalorphanrelief.org. Under the Un-Gala 2021 tab, select One-Time Donation. You also might consider supporting one or more of our initiatives month to month by selecting the Monthly Giving tab. And remember, the all-important Super Donor Matching Fund for the first $20,000.
Hi, my name is Tracy Baxter.
And I'm Arthur Baxter, and we're in Colorado.
We met Scott in 2019 when he invited us to the Global Orphan Relief Gala.
We're extremely excited to hear about the amount of orphans and families that are being supported by his organization, and that number is extremely impressive.
Yes, it's a blessing to give to a Christian organization. And I'm looking forward to being a part of a mission trip so I can go out with Scott and his team to serve in the field.
This ministry is definitely fertile ground in which to plant seeds of help and blessings.
Yes. Thank you, Global Orphan Relief, for letting God use you.
Hi, my name is Janie Harvey, and my husband Ted and I have seen some really exciting things happen through Global Orphan Relief since we became involved several years ago. We live in Colorado, and we joined the effort to support the Dream School in DR Congo, which got up and running in 2015 to serve 160 orphan children and to teach them to read and write. Teaching reading is a huge passion of mine, and so it's so exciting for me to get online and see the pictures and know that this Dream School is still growing and serving these orphans who are receiving education through the 6th grade. And they also have the opportunity to hear the gospel and to have instruction in God's Word. Ted and I are just so grateful because we know Scott, and we're so pleased to be able to give into an organization where we know firsthand the integrity of its leadership and the love that they are pouring into vulnerable children's lives. We're really honored to stand with Go and to be a very small part of fulfilling Isaiah 1:17 that says, "Learn to do good, seek justice, help the oppressed, defend the cause of orphans, and fight for the rights of widows." We just want to say thanks so much to everyone who is working here and around the world to further God's love through Global Orphan Relief.
Hi, my name is John Peterson, and it has been my privilege and pleasure to participate in Global Orphan Relief's ministry, both financially and in prayer. In Isaiah 58, God rebukes Israel for the way they fast, and then says that God's chosen fast includes, amongst other items, letting the oppressed go free, breaking every yoke, break bread with the hungry, and bring home the homeless. This passage shows God's heart, and this passage reflects the heart of Global Orphan Relief and Scott Nordstrom's heart. I may not ever get to meet the children that are cared for, but my participation makes a difference in their lives. As you consider partnering with Global Orphan Relief, please seek God's instructions and His heart. When He shows you an open door, step through it. You will not regret it.
If you're ever in the position where you think you would like to join a team ministering in the field, go to the Global Orphan Relief website, globalorphanrelief.org, and tell us of your interest. If you do, you will definitely be blessed, as I was in so many ways. If you haven't observed by now, let me make it very clear. Global Orphan Relief is a faith-based Christian ministry. We trust in the miraculous hand and influence of God to grow and sustain our work. We fully believe the most powerful activity we can participate in is prayer. And we know that by faith, those prayers are heard and answered. Why am I telling you this? To encourage those of you who may want to participate with our prayer team, or any of a half dozen other ways you can get involved with Global Orphan Relief.
God hears our prayers, and this whole ministry is based on prayer. So thank you so much for, through your prayers, changing the lives of children.
God is doing a lot, especially in South Sudan, through our work together, because they are seeing the loves of Christ, you see, caring for these people, and even they are being moved by what you are doing, especially because, you see, you don't know these children, you don't know who they are, and you are also providing for them. So they see us, God, doing that through you.
As you might expect, feeding 5,000 came out of my study of the scriptures over the last 12 months or so. I touched on this a bit during last year's gala, but I think it's important to emphasize that our only job is to bring the loaves and fish. Jesus will do the rest. Just over 16 years ago, we started down this path to somehow be obedient to the King. And we had no idea at the time how to serve orphans or where we should do this work. And since then, we have gained some knowledge and experience, but the same holds true today as it was then back in 2005. We continue to adventure into the unknown. I mean, it is a beautiful thing as we follow His leading to demonstrate the love of the Father. Over the years, I am so encouraged to think that God has breathed on this Global Orphan Relief. And what has transpired in the life of this ministry is simply a million little miracles. And many of you that are with us in this moment have been with us on this journey since the beginning. And thank you. And I hope that somehow you have been blessed in the process. So rather than spending a bunch of time on recapping the past, I would like to concentrate on today, 2022 and beyond. In 2021, we have recalibrated service delivery in the field to be more focused on the orphan child, because that's what we do. We serve the orphan child. We have since enlisted the help of Kids for the Kingdom, who you heard from earlier in the program, to help us providing meals to the children in South Sudan. What was happening is there were so many children coming, and they were hungry in search of food, and we couldn't turn them away. And what Kids for the Kingdom has agreed to do is actually serve that segment of the student body that are not orphan children. And so we are so blessed to be working side by side with Kids for the Kingdom and Christ's Mission to the World in South Sudan, and will continue that important work there. Though we are serving close to 4,000 children as we speak, 1,800 of these children are only receiving meds that are necessary during this time of year over the next month or two. So we will actually be headed into 2022 serving less children, but more concentrated within the initiatives that require additional funding per child. While the number of children we serve in 2021 is up 68% over 2020, the number of children that we're projected to serve in 2022 will slightly decrease by about 9% due to this recalibration. What does this mean for the new year? Growth in each and every initiative except nutrition. Our resources will be more concentrated on the orphan child and in initiatives that require an increased amount of funding per child. You heard us talk about the Great Commandment Workshop, where I believe that God is taking our ministry. But this is a long-term plan, 3 to 5 years, that will require persistence, patience, diligence, prayer, and of course, additional funding. The net effect is funding that we will need in the new year will surpass what we are projected to spend this year by 56%, or $177,000, with $75,000 of this amount designated to build an orphanage in South Sudan. Tonight's goal of $100,000 is only 20% of what we believe is needed to serve thousands of orphan children in 2022. It's crazy, I know. The level of service we provided this year, the funding required to accomplish this, looks to be about 44% over what we did last year. So to make an even bigger jump in 2022, it doesn't seem very practical, I know. And at the very least, it seems like an impossible task. I realize that if I was to sit down with each of you one-on-one, I might get the same sort of feedback. I know there'll be some discussion about this with our board, maybe even some pushback. But this is what I believe that the Lord is putting in front of us to do in 2022. I am reminded that we serve a mighty, powerful, miracle-working God, don't we? And we can take a huge step in this moment toward this end right now. Or we can begin tomorrow to scale back God's expectations for our ministry. As I've been blessed to serve orphan children in the field all around the world, what I have seen is organizations like ours willing to provide substandard care for the orphan child. The thought is that these children are at least getting more than what they had before. At times, limited resources has required our ministry to pull back on initial plans to provide for these precious children. What happens is that we settle for less. For children that have already experienced a life with limited resources, we're settling for less. So in 2022, we begin the process to go deep and wide for these children and to scale up to feeding 5,000. What I envision for the children that we serve is to experience the generosity of God as we have blown past any expectation that we had for this year just 1 year ago, as we have served a record number of orphan children in 2021. And thank you for connecting to learn more about Feeding 5,000, which is really about building the capacity of this movement to serve 5,000 orphan children on a monthly basis. I'd also like to thank those who have participated in putting this celebration on, folks who have sent us messages, field partners who have taken time to put together some media to share with you all during this program. We are a tribe of like-hearted people, like-hearted adventurers, and there's always room for others to join the movement, to be part of the story of serving orphan children. In James 1:27, many of you are familiar with this scripture. The scripture is very specific here. God calls the work we do pure religion. So meaning that by serving orphan children, you can't get any better than this in the sight of the Lord. So please make a big or small gift during this event and help us move forward to feeding the 5,000. Thank you and God bless you.
Indeed, the need is great. And I must report to you, the need is even greater this year with the passing of our friend, co-worker, and sister, Linda Jones.
I can even go into new areas. I have contacts in between Coloma and Livingston already. We sat with them, we talked with them, but I know I could go back there and probably 50 children right away we could be helping. There's such a big need.
And I haven't heard from social welfare about Victor, the last little boy we accepted that was very sick and malnourished. His mother is mentally ill.
Children are always, I think, the heart of God, and you know, it's like children are our future, and if we're not taking care of our children, then we're really throwing away something very precious.
When I went to Zambia in 2015, Linda was so instrumental in the operation of the orphanages and in creating a wonderful, welcoming environment for the team. She will be greatly missed. Please allow me now to remind you of how to give. When you're ready to give, all you have to do is text either the word give or donate to 720-513-5284. You'll receive a return text and it'll give you a link where you can give your gift. The other way is you can go to our website at globalorphanrelief.org. Under the Un-Gala 2021 tab, select one-time donation. You also might consider supporting one or more of our initiatives month to month by selecting the monthly giving tab. And remember, the all-important Super Donor Matching Fund for the first $20,000.
Hi, Scott Nordstrom again with Global Orphan Relief. Just wanted to take a few minutes to wrap up this very special Un-Gala Feeding 5,000. I mean, you've heard fine wine takes time, and as many of you know, we've had setback after setback, challenge after challenge in getting this material to you, but it has finally arrived. And we just thank you so much for spending the last hour with us as we communicate to you all that is transpiring on the behalf of orphan children in the field today. Now, because of you, I mean, hundreds of children now have a home. Hundreds of children now attend school because of you. And literally thousands of orphan children are receiving meals because of you. This work would not happen without you. We have upwards to 200 individuals that are now actively involved in this movement of faith to serve orphan children. So this event, this fundraising event, is foundational in terms of how we might move out in the new year to bless even more children. So I would ask you in this moment to prayerfully consider how you might be involved for the first time, or if you are one of those folks that are already involved in this ministry, maybe God is telling you to step up and to somehow bless even more children. So you can do that through the text to give number that has been given to you several times, or you can do that on our website or at the event page. There's any number of ways that you can be financially involved in how we might move out in the new year to bless more children. I want to thank you again for taking the time over the last hour. Also, for those who are already, involved in this ministry, we want to thank you so much for your care and attention and love for the orphan child. So again, God bless you, and we look forward to serving with you in 2022. Amen.